My first $100,000 that I raised was by going down to the Royal Bank Tower and riding the elevator and telling my story to executives until one of them agreed to give me the $100,000.
You started your first business in your living room with $2,000, two PCs, and a cat. Correct me if I'm wrong on that story. I would like to know what gave you that first entrepreneurial spirit and what sparked your entrepreneurial journey?
Wow. Well, first off, Vlad, tip of the hat for doing your research and going that far back into the story. You found one of them that's right at the beginning of the whole journey. I was originally, way back when I started out, I was a graduate from the journalism program at Ryerson. And at the time, in order to get a journalism job, you had to travel to a different part of the country and sort of work your way back to Toronto. That's what the majority of people had to do. But for a whole variety of like family and personal reasons, I didn't want to leave the city, and I wanted to stay here close to the people that were important to me. So I decided that I had no choice but to start my own magazine, because then if I owned my own magazine, I wouldn't have to leave Toronto and start my career somewhere else. And that really was the first entrepreneurial spark of like, why do I have to leave? Maybe I could just create my own thing. That happened way back in 1995.
As you look back at yourself and your early days as an entrepreneur, and now as you teach and talk to startups and a new generation of entrepreneurs at one of the most prestigious business schools in the world, really, what do you think has changed and what has stayed the same with the entrepreneur of the old school and, let's say, the new school?
Well, one of the things that's changed is really how the ecosystem in Toronto and Canada has just grown and flourished, so that there's an incredible support network that's there to help people to think through designing their businesses or getting them funded. And I love seeing that being available there to support people who are doing all the work like you're doing, to share stories and share ideas. Back when I was starting out, that was all hidden. There wasn't really much support at all for getting things done. And even if you had to raise money, I mean, I tell a famous story where my first $100,000 that I raised was by going down to the Royal Bank Tower and riding the elevator and telling my story to executives until one of them agreed to give me the $100,000. There weren't a lot of angel networks or venture funds, and there were no accelerators at all at that point in time. So I think the biggest change is just the community of support that's there now, and that's a wonderful thing. What hasn't changed for me is that the fundamental things that make entrepreneurs successful that I saw back then in my peers and the people who were starting out originally in the community and the people who are succeeding now are still some core things that really like make people work. I think the ecosystem that's here allows people to go further and faster and bigger and more global, but that really the same fundamental principles of curiosity and openness and hustle and fearlessness are at the heart of the people that I see succeeding.